Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another Sonic info/thoughts video. We got some exciting news related to Sonic Forces. The official Sonic the Hedgehog social media channels have revealed that Shadow is playable in Sonic Forces. So how this all works is that there's a free DLC pack available on launch day called Episode Shadow. It adds 3 stages where you can play as Shadow, and also gives you the ability to replay over 10 modern Sonic stages as him. So there's a bonus edition of Forces that you get for pre-ordering, which includes the Sega and Atlas themed costumes for your custom hero. And if you pre-order the digital version of it, you'll also get this interesting Shadow costume as well. We also got this new official render of Infinite. Yeah, it looks very silvery and edgy here, for sure. But overall, yeah, this might be some of the most exciting news to me so far regarding Sonic Forces. Many of us have been begging for more Sonic characters to be playable in the main series again, and finally they seem to be delivering on that. And basically, this is supposed to be a short story revolving around Shadow, not just some bonus levels with Shadow thrown in over Sonic, because the video description of the gameplay video that you're seeing in the background says that this is a prequel to the main storyline of Sonic Forces, where it explores Shadow's allegiance, the fate of Team Dark, and the origin of the mysterious villain, Infinite. The premise reminds me a lot of the Jetstream Sam and Blade Wolf DLC for Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, where those DLCs also did take place before the story of the main campaign, and you would get to see why those two characters end up being villains in the story mode of the main game, and kind of help you sympathize with them a little bit more. I'm really glad that we know for sure that we are going to see the origin story behind Infinite, and that Shadow seems to be connected to it somehow. I also find it interesting that they specifically mention Team Dark. So that basically means that Rouge and Omega will be part of the game. You actually can see Rouge as part of a previous trailer that came out about a week ago. It's only in Japanese right now, but I think they are supposed to put out an English version sometime in the near future. And talking about the new footage that they've released today, I really love the remix of Supporting Me that they have playing in the background, which you may remember as the boss music that played in Sonic Adventure 2 when you faced the Bio-Lizard as just Shadow. Not like the big finale, but the battle before that. And one interesting difference with Shadow is that it seems like with multiple small hovering enemies, you can do a very fast homing attack, which I guess depending on the way you look at it can be seen as a light dash except with enemies instead of rings, or an instant light speed attack. And maybe I'm just looking a bit too deeply into things, but I noticed that when Shadow beats the level, it turns into the Resistance star instead of it still being the Eggman logo or whatever. So maybe Team Dark is part of the Resistance, and then something happens at the end of the story that corrupts Shadow and maybe even the rest of Team Dark temporarily, because Rouge obviously will join the Resistance at some point, but don't know about Shadow and Omega. Going back to the Blade Wolf and Sam DLC comparison from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, I wouldn't be surprised if this Shadow DLC also ends the same way, where the final boss of it is Infinite, and then when you appear to win, then Infinite will defeat Shadow and he'll have absolutely no choice but to join up with him. This is going to be a bit of a bold prediction, but I wouldn't be surprised if Infinite also kills Omega in order to get Shadow to join him as well. And this DLC really makes the game look more exciting in my eyes, because it does really look like they're trying to make a really good Sonic story, probably the best since the Adventure era. And it does make me hope that also, since this is DLC and not already part of the game when you initially install it, that there could be more DLC in the future. I wouldn't mind seeing a kind of similar DLC for Silver, where you get to play as him a little bit in his future, and then you somehow find out about this whole story that's going on in Sonic Forces, and then be okay, so maybe this is why Silver's future is affected so badly. and then, yeah, you end up going back in time at the end, and then that leads into the main story of Sonic Forces, something like that. There actually has been a rumor circulating since Gamescom, I think, that Silver might be playable in this game, and I figured, okay, then it's just probably a character that the custom hero is teaming up with in a tag team stage. But maybe there is an actual episode Silver DLC coming out later. Maybe I'm getting my hopes up a little too high, but it would be nice to see Sega put more DLC out for Sonic Forces. I was really disappointed that they didn't really do much at all for Generations when there was just like such a goldmine of potential for that. So maybe they can do that where they add more playable characters through short story campaigns. And Silver would demand a little bit more unique gameplay than Shadow, so that could be something that I would imagine coming out a bit later, whereas with Shadow it's just like, okay, they're almost completely copying and pasting modern Sonic's gameplay. Before I end this video, there is one more thing I'd like to talk about for a bit. So you may have heard that Sonic Forces Speed Battle, which is a new Sonic game for mobile devices, soft launched in the Philippines. The gist of it is that it's like Sonic Dash, except you're racing other Sonic characters at the same time. And what you're racing for is the Phantom Ruby, which you may have seen in Sonic Mania. When they were answering questions on an official livestream last week, they didn't have any more news to share about the game and when it's launching everywhere else, but I would like to do some gameplay of it on my channel when it comes out in Canada. And one interesting thing here is that you can see they're running through Sky Sanctuary. So is Sky Sanctuary also in the console versions of Sonic Forces? It actually wouldn't surprise me because another rumor that's floating around right now is that Knuckles is the leader of the Resistance, not modern Sonic. And I'm sure that would have some sort of connection to Angel Island, which Sky Sanctuary is a part of. Plus Chaos is one of the enemies in the game. And that wraps up another Sonic Info/Thoughts video. So let me know what you think of all of this recent news for Sonic Forces. I'm definitely getting more excited for this game, and my hopes are getting higher, so I'm really hoping that in the way that Sonic Mania is being a joy to play, that Forces will be on at least a very similar level to it. Alright, I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!